I was just saying, this is like money for old rope. Because my dad would have said that. He hated wasting money. And the dozens of people who have come today have all wasted their money on old rope, because it's an appropriate term for the non-dual message. I would say not how it's typically been traditionally used, but certainly the way I speak about it, and most people that I'd ever listen to, because all I want to tell you is that there isn't anything to get. So why would you pay for that? You're paying for what is. Now that's free. So you've heard the word liberation a lot. This is what you get for your money. And whether you pay for it or you don't pay a fucking penny will not make any odds whatsoever. There just isn't anything else. Now, if that isn't money for old rope being absolutely worthless, I don't know what is. This is a message saying there's only what is. That's all I want to tell you. There isn't anything else. There isn't anything more. There isn't anything less. There isn't anything deeper, any higher, any lower. I haven't forgotten. Somebody said to me the other day, Tim, I think you've forgotten what it's like to be a self and how shit it is being a seeker. I said, I haven't forgotten. That's why I speak about it. You wouldn't speak about it if you hadn't. If you'd forgotten, there'd be fuck all to say. Absolutely nothing to say. There's nothing to be said about this. It's as it is. And how is as it is? Well, as it is. And then you wouldn't say anything else. But the reason it's worth speaking about is when you're looking for this, when you can only conceptualize this as another this, not this, another this, in another time, in another place, somewhere else. It does give you hope, but it's shit. And it does give you something to do, but it's shit. Because all the time you're saying, not this. Well, not this, but that this. Another this, somewhere else, another time, another place, another way of being, another way of seeing, another way of feeling. There isn't another way. There isn't even one way. It's just this way. And this way is just the way it is. It's so outrageously simple to be not worth talking about. But I talk about it because I was always touched when Tony said this was the only compassion. And I just, as a seeker, I couldn't hear that. I didn't get it. But it really is. Because there's no compassion in saying you're not there yet. There's no compassion in saying I'm not there yet. There's no compassion in there at all. The only compassion is not will be, not could be, not might be. That's just wishful thinking, magical thinking, fairy tales. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with fairy tales. I like a fairy tale. But you can't believe in fairy tales. This annihilates any possibility of believing fairy tales. About happily ever after. I'm not talking about happiness. I'm not talking about ever. And there is no after. So this really does annihilate the happy ending. There isn't an ending. I'm not speaking about, okay, this will be the resolution of all your questions. You won't have any more questions anymore because you'll have found the answers. What I'm suggesting is there aren't any answers. Whatever answers anyone's come up with, they've just come up with a fairy tale happy ending. Now I know. And self is only about the comfort and security of knowing. That's what I desire. That's what self desires more than anything, to have the security of knowing, because then I'll be safe. Knowledge equals security. It's totally empty. It's all illusory, all of that. There's no security here. And so bizarrely, the fact that there isn't anyone who needs to be secure, and there isn't any possibility of security, then weirdly, paradoxically, that's immeasurably more secure than seeking security. Because whenever you're looking to be safe, which I always was, nearly every self I know, that's the preoccupation is with keeping myself safe, then all you're doing is confirming that this isn't safe. Well, this is neither safe nor unsafe. It's just as it is. So that whole need for security, it can still appear, but it's not the compulsion that it is for me. I mean, it sort of underlies everything that self does. It's always about my best interests, my security, my safety, my life. And it's best not to go around telling people that they don't have a life. But that's what we're speaking of. That's really all we're speaking of. So there is only life. There isn't anyone who has one. There aren't separate lives. There's just life. I mean, can you get anything more outrageously simple? And that isn't saying anything about life. It isn't saying about the way life is. The way life is the way life is. And it isn't that the way life is has to be the way life is. No, it just is the way it is. So it's nothing about, you can forget all the stories of predetermination or predestination or all of those spiritual religious ideas. Now, this is like starkly ordinarily as life is, this ordinary miracle. And we were talking earlier about, if this is the end of looking for miracles, because people who go to Tony or, it doesn't matter where you go, Rupert Spira, doesn't matter, Adyashanti, they're looking for a miracle still. And the miracle will be that they'll disappear, and then once I'm out the fucking way, then life will be fine. Doesn't matter, and the self doesn't hear, even if the speaker says, no, that's not what's being said. That's all that you can, because self can only imagine when I'm gone, because I'm the problem, then everything will be okay. Because I'm fucking everything up. It's me that's the issue. And then I've heard that there can be a shift, there can be a revelation, there can be a realization, there can be an awakening. And if you go to meetings, you'll meet a dozen people who will very happily tell you all of their awakening stories and their realization stories. I'm not talking about any of those at all. There's nothing worse than those, really, because all they do is they just feed the hope of, oh, I had it and I've lost it, but then I could, so how do I maintain it? It's very similar to the therapeutic model, where you have to keep going to the same therapist for for 20 years, because there's still stuff to uncover. There's still some of me. I haven't got rid of all of me, but there isn't a me to get rid of. So there is no bigger joke than the shift that we're speaking of is no shift at all. There isn't anything to shift. This is all there is. This does not shift. This does not come and go. This does not appear and disappear. The appearance appears to appear and disappear. This, which we can't speak of, what it is that's constant, that doesn't come and go, I don't mind what you call it. And all discussions in non-duality are about the words that we're going to use for that which is, that remains. So the words I prefer, I only like two words, emptiness and nothing. And because they don't, to me, they just don't mean something. But of course you can make them into something. And I get accused of, oh, you say nothing, and when you say nothing, it sounds as though you're talking about something. There's no way around that with language. But what we're talking about isn't about the words, it's not sort of knowing. The words that resonate for you or feel right for you is completely unique. You'll never hear one speaker and you'll think, oh yeah, that's exactly how I would say it. Well, it's the same with anything else. Just the wonder is that every human being is totally unique. And we're not talking about the words. We're talking in words about something that's silent and still and unmoving. That is all the noise, all the movement, singing and dancing. So there's no way to this. There's no approaching. And there's no escape. There's no way in or out.